Have you ever heard riding advice like keep your hands at the wither, keep your heel really low, feel the horse's side against your calf and your ankle, and wondered, this is working for another rider, she seems to be able to do it really easily, but this just doesn't feel right to me. What I want to do in this video is explain how the same riding advice doesn't necessarily work for every rider, especially when we're trying to fit into an ideal position. Because we're all so different. We all have different bodies, different conformation, different lengths of our arms, of our legs in relation to our body. And when we can find a riding posture that is based on alignment and good principles, we can be totally secure and totally effective and have great communication with our aides, no matter what kind of body, what shape or size we are. But when we try to fit into just an ideal picture, we might be frustrated. I'm here with two riders. I'm here with Molly and with Allie, and with our horses Finn, who's yawning at the moment, and with Catfish. And we're going to go over 3 of the most common riding position tips that don't work for everyone. I think the most common of these 3 that really is a detriment to riders is the idea of hands at the wither. So with Molly here, she has a longer arm and her hands rest really nicely right above the wither. So it's not that this is bad advice, but you'll see in a moment how it doesn't necessarily fit for everyone. So what we want to have is that the upper arm hangs comfortably along the rider's side here, and then the lower arm, the forearm, is raised at an angle that creates this straight line from the elbow down to the horse's bit, or to the attachment point of the rein if you're riding in a bitless bridle. So that's why arm position is going to be variable. Sometimes we need to raise our hands in order to keep that line. Sometimes that angle might open more as we're, say, rising a trot. But it's this alignment that is what's most important. So now for Allie, she's on Finn, who's got a little bit of a shorter neck. So this almost works for her, but think if you were to put your hands right at the wither. So see there how she had to move her hands forward, and now her upper arm is more angled forward. And I want you to demonstrate even more. So even if you were a rider with a shorter hand and you were really trying to keep your knuckles completely on the withers, see how now the bend has come out of Allie's elbow. So now her shoulder is slightly rolled forward, the bends come out of her elbow, and what this is going to result in is she's not going to be able to keep a good contact with her horse in motion. And if I was to pull here just to demonstrate, so try not to let me pull you, but I could really easily pull you out of the saddle. So if Finn was to root into the bridle or to do some head shaking or something, he could really easily make Allie less stable. So now go ahead and let your elbow come back. So your upper arm is hanging again. Good. Now she's got this straight line again from her elbow down here to the bit. And notice that her hand is close to the withers, but it's not pushed all the way down. So this is the first part, is arms, and find the alignment of your arms instead of just looking for keep your hands low, keep your hands down at the wither. The second piece of riding advice that is often confused between different riders is the contact that we have with our legs. So we want to have a good contact with our legs. We want our leg to be draped along the horse, to be kind of hanging along the horse's side. You can see this here with Allie, how she's got weight here on her thigh, she's got weight here on her calf, and because she's got a shorter leg and Finn is a pretty wide-barreled horse, she's actually got contact all the way through her calf and all the way through her ankle. So she's got this feeling like he's really filling out her leg, and she can feel her leg contact all the way down. So the way that Allie's going to describe how she feels her leg contact on her horse is going to be slightly different than if we come over here to Molly and Catfish. So Catfish, he's got a pretty good barrel, but he's not quite as round as Finn is. And
I was like, what's going on?
he's also obviously just waking up. and Molly has a long leg. You especially have this really long femur. So what happens here is Molly's got weight on her thigh. She's got a little bit of weight right here at the top of her calf, but there's no contact here at the lower part of her calf or at her ankle. And this isn't incorrect, because if you were trying to find contact and wrap your leg around your horse, how comfortable is that?
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to break my leg there. Like, it doesn't bend that. Yeah.
Yes. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the outside of the stirrup. It actually, when you try to find this contact, when it's not there, then it reduces the good contact that you have too at your thigh. So once again, we would see if she tried to find this posture, this position, it would make her less comfortable and less effective. Now, the third thing, this is the classic in riding, is heels down and needing to have a super low heel. So while it's true that we don't want to push our toes down, or we don't want to be riding with all of our weight pushing down on the stirrup and not having a lowered heel, if we try to push our heel artificially low, it's going to brace against the stirrup and it's only going to swing the lower leg forward. So while the heel might look low, it's not actually the weight dropping down into it. So while one rider might have a really flexible ankle and a really lowered heel, like Molly here looks like she has more flexibility in her ankle. So she could have a lower heel in relation to the front of her foot, to the ball of her foot. If Allie has less mobility, less natural flexibility and range of motion in her ankle, if she goes to try to push super low, it's only going to swing that stirrup forward. So we don't want to be pushing into the heel. We want to find weight along the back of the leg. And for riders with less flexibility in the ankle, their foot's going to be parallel to the ground, and both riders can be equally stable and effective in their riding. Remember that the same riding advice is not true for every body. We want to focus on principles of good riding, of finding great alignment, and remember to experiment. Try different positions and feel what feels most stable, secure, and comfortable for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below and tell me one piece of riding advice that has helped you the most to change something about your posture that really made a big difference in your riding. I'll see you in the comments. If you're watching this anywhere besides horseclass.com, go there for the best conversation.